Padres play here on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
An Odyssey sports station. Hold on.
What?
Our day is not over just yet.
Woohoo! USA!
We have an action-packed hour for you 6 p.m. drivers.
Would I rather be feared or loved? Easy, both. I want people to be afraid of how much they love me.
Matt Skraby wraps up a full day of live and local sports talk.
And that is the whole problem with aliens. You just can't trust them. Occasionally you meet a nice one, but usually they turn out to be some kind of big lizard.
The Skraby Show starts now on 97.3 The Fan.
2-2 to Bogart, sixth pitch of the at-bat, and Sander hits one on a rope into left center field. That'll get the job done. One hops up against the ivy. Merrill scores easily. Bogart's into second base. Now the throw kicks away, and Sander going to try for third and get there. So back-to-back doubles plus an error, and the Padres a 1-0 lead.
They cracked things open here early.
And unfortunately, that was it for the Padres in the run column for today. I am Matt Skraby. Hello and welcome to the Skraby Show. Thank you for joining me. We're going to be here until 7 p.m. I'm going to take you through some of the game, talk about game 2, talk about Dylan Cease, and then I have a daily gripe at the end. If you've never heard the daily gripe, it's something that is very me, where little small things in daily life bother me. And it could be something that happens to me in life, or it could be something I see on TV, but I have a really good daily gripe, I think. I really do. And I think most people are going to agree with me on the daily gripe a little bit later. But Padres lose to the Cubs 3-1. And I thought coming into today, I might be a little too positive about sports, because I'm always the one who thinks they can do the improbable. I'm always the one that thinks my teams, or teams that I'm cheering for, can win games that they're not supposed to win. And so coming into this series, I was like, the Padres have a bunch of guys that are really, really good, and they are really good when it matters most. And today, I didn't see that from the Padres. And so I thought when they scored that first run, I was like, here we go. Padres are going to figure it out. They're going to be okay. They're going to get this done. Xander Bogaerts on third base, no outs. But then the regular season experiences that we've all had crept into the back of my head. And I just kind of figured that leaving Xander at third with no outs was going to come back in and bite them. And it did. It did bite them, because they have to be able to drive those runs in. I don't think there's anyone out there that is listening thinking that not thinking along with me is what I'm trying to say. Everybody out there is thinking those runs have to be driven in. It's just how you are going to win a playoff game. You have to take advantage of every single opportunity. There were opportunities for the Padres today, and those opportunities did not pay off. And those opportunities are going to be what we remember of this wild card for the Padres. Now, going into tomorrow with Dylan Cease, I'm still positive. I am. Until we get to that bottom or top of the ninth, I don't know why I keep thinking the Padres are going to be walking things off when they're on the road. It's happened to me twice today. But the Padres, I still think that unless they are really one out left in the top of the ninth inning, I am going to hold out hope. And I think that they're going to regroup tonight, and they're going to come to work tomorrow, because they know that their season is on the line. And so they understand how important everything is. And I just think, you can't take anything away from Dansby Swanson. He made some great plays that kept Xander at third, a great play that kept Xander at third. But when you have him on third base and no outs, and then you just can't muster anything up, that was extremely frustrating to me. Jackson Merrill doubles to start the second inning. Xander doubles to drive in Jackson Merrill. Ryan O'Hearn grounds out, but Dansby Swanson, nice play. Then Gavin Sheets pops out to third, and then Jake Cronenworth grounds out. That's not really something that's going to win you playoff games. That's not something that is going to take you deep into the postseason. And they have one game to turn it around and figure it out. One game. It's a little nerve-wracking. I'm not going to lie. It's a little nerve-wracking, but I really truly believe that they could do it. But let's focus on today and see where things went wrong. And I did tweet out about Jackson Merrill. And if you weren't able to watch the game today, I should give you the score. Padres lost 3-1. They had 4 hits. The Cubs had 6 hits. They also had that error that you just heard, but they hit 2 solo shots back-to-back in the 5th inning that ended up being the game for them. So Nick Pivetta was incredible. He went 5 innings. He struck out 9. He was looking unstoppable. And then back-to-back home runs completely changed the entire chemistry of what was going on that field. Because I read a quote from Craig Counsell after the game saying that those 2 home runs completely turned around the energy of the stadium. And that was one of the things that helped them propel them to the win. So you just can't let the crowd get into it. Up until that point, the crowd could not get into it because Pivetta was so good. And I was feeling good. But Pivetta goes 5 innings, strikes out 9, gives up 2 runs. This is not Nick Pivetta's fault. This is not his fault. I don't know that anyone is actually blaming Nick Pivetta, but if you are, this was not his fault. Morihone came in. He went an inning, but he did give up 2 hits. And then Mason Miller comes in. He goes an inning, strikes out the side. And then Jeremiah Estrada comes in for 2/3 of an inning. He did give up that sacrifice fly late in the game in the 8th, which really was a dagger for me, at least. I mean, 1 run in playoff games seemed like they're 2 or 3 runs, but going up 3-1 in the 8th before the Padres had their final 3 outs in the top of the 9th, that was a huge confidence booster for the Cubs, but it was also a killer for the Padres because things just got so much harder. And then Wandy Peralta comes in for the final out that the Padres pitched. He went 1/3 of an inning and he got the strikeout. The runners in scoring position today, it was, it's funny when I look at the runners in scoring position stat, they went 2 for 7. And I'm like, earlier I was thinking, how could they go 2 for 7? They only scored 1 run, but they moved guys over. That's a hit with runners in scoring position. But 2 for 7 and leaving 4 on base is a recipe for a loss. It's a recipe for a loss. It really is. And they're going to have to tighten up a little bit tomorrow. Not a little bit, a lot of bit. Because it all comes down to tomorrow. Let's see. Bill says, tell the Guardian same thing happened to them bottom of the 9th and batters made weak contact. I know. It's not as easy as I'm making it seem. It's not. But with no outs, you should be able to get Xander Bogaerts in. That's just a given. You have to be able to find a way. I don't even care if it's a squeeze play. They love to bunt. Why not try to get him in that way? I don't know. And let's go to the bunt in the 4th inning. And I did tweet out that I'm not a fan of Jackson Merrill calling his own sacrifice bunt in that situation after Manny walked. Because Jackson Merrill got the first hit of the game for the Padres. He doubled. And I like what Jackson has been doing with the bat lately. I would much rather see him swing away rather than do the sacrifice bunt. I mean, I guess it's a double-edged sword because he grounds into a double play. Everybody's complaining about the double play. He does the sacrifice bunt. Everybody's complaining about him giving up an out. But Manny walked in 5 pitches. Only one of them was a strike, obviously. And that one was even close. So the other pitches weren't even close. I wanted to see Jackson Merrill make Boyd pitch to him. And I know it was It was a decision that Jackson Merrill made. 9,999 times out of 10,000, I trust Jackson Merrill, but I don't think in the playoffs, I don't think that's a decision that he can make on his own unless there is something that's so good in front of him that he can't pass it up. Schilt had talked about it after the game that he trusts his players and that Jackson made that call. And then he said in the past couple weeks that he lets his players make decisions for themselves. And I know that they're not going to change the way that they manage or change the way that they do things at this point in the year. But I feel like Mike Schilt maybe needs to tell the team that they should not be making decisions like that during the game in the heat of the moment. Maybe talk it out before you go up there. Something. I don't know. I'm not blaming this on Jackson Merrill. I don't think the reason that the Padres lost was because of his sacrifice bunt. That's not true. The reason the Padres lost is because the first three batters in their order went 0 for 11 with 3 Ks. Fernando 0 for 4. Luis Arraez 0 for 4. Manny Machado 0 for 3 with a walk. Then you have Jackson Merrill with a hit. You got Xander Bogaerts with 2 hits. O'Hearn, no hits. Sheets, no hits. Cronenworth, no hits. Fermin with a hit. So there's your 4 hits right there. The 4 and 5 hitter and the 9 hitter. That is not going to win you playoff games. 0 for 11 at the top of the order for the Padres today. And that cannot happen again tomorrow, or else they will be going home. Yeah, I think we have to look at that possibility that they could be going home tomorrow if their superstars are not going to superstar. This is something I think I said a lot during the 2024 season, was the superstars have to superstar. And if they're not going to be the superstars that they are, then this team, I'm not going to say it doesn't have a chance, but this team is going to have a massive uphill battle and climb each and every night. So let me update you what's going on in the Red Sox and the Yankees, because the Red Sox took a 3-1 lead late in the game. It's the bottom of the 9th. Bases are loaded for the Yankees. Aroldis Chapman on the mound for the Red Sox. Trent Grisham up with 2 outs. He has a 2-1 count. So we will be looking and seeing what happens there. It's now a 2-2 count. So Yankees game 1 for right now will come down to Trent Grisham, which, by the way, Chris and I were looking up in the break that Trent Grisham hit over 30 home runs this year. He had an OPS over 800. I know that Yankee Stadium and some of those stadiums out there in the East Coast are not as big as, say, Petco Park, but would have been nice to have Trent Grisham hitting 30-something home runs for the Padres a few years ago. But I'm just stalling because I'm trying to see, and there you go. It's over. Trent Grisham swings through 101 mile an hour fastball. Red Sox steal one in New York from the Yankees. Yankees are up 1-0. Would you rather be a Yankee fan or a Padre fan right now? Rod says Yankees legend Trent Grisham. Ashley says Tigers will take those guards. They won't make the same mistake again that they did all of September. Tigers Padres World Series. I'm into that. That sounds fun to me. When we get back, we're gonna head to break right now. But when we get back, we'll start talking a little bit about game 2 and what's going on with Dylan Cease. I went through a bunch of his stats. I think there is a way for them to use Dylan Cease that is effective without worrying about him giving up that home run. And I'm not going to go into tomorrow worrying about him giving up a home run, because that's not a way you can go into it, I think. But we'll talk about Dylan Cease, and we'll also briefly mention the sacrifice bunts that the Padres have hit, or that have they've tried to execute this year, because I went through the stats and I just I did it, and now that it doesn't really matter. Now that I'm not as mad about the bunt and all that stuff, it's not really relevant, but I will bring it to you on the other side. So Dylan Cease talk, Game 2 talk, and more on the Skraby Show, 97.3 The Fan.
Partly cloudy and breezy.
And
You're listening to the Skraby Show here on 97.3 The Fan. Thank you to everyone who has joined me tonight and will join me tonight. You can watch on many different platforms. We have all of our shows streamed live for you all, but YouTube is the best place to go. If you want to go and find my YouTube, it's at The Skraby Show. At The Skraby Show. I'm pretty sure. Why am I forgetting right now? Yeah, duh. At The Skraby Show if you want to be in that one, or you can go to 97.3 The Fan SD on YouTube. You can also go to 97.3 The Fan SD on Twitter. And again, Facebook has the show there as well. Also, 97.3thefansd.com has all of the podcasts for your listening delight. I would like to get to something in a second. There was someone on the chat, and I wanted to point out something that they said, but I wanted to take a quick second to say that you all, or if you can, I know it's in the middle of the day, but you need to join Ben and Woods, Braden, Chris, and I for a postseason watch party at Park 101 in Carlsbad tomorrow to watch Game 2 between San Diego and Chicago. Park 101 is a bi-level sports bar with a rooftop deck and huge screens. There will be North County's best barbecue, craft cocktails, and we'll give away autographed baseballs. It's all presented by Estrella Jalisco Light Mexican Lager. Join us tomorrow at Park 101, located at 3040 Carlsbad Boulevard in the Carlsbad Village. We're going to have Musgrove autograph ball, Darvish autograph ball, Cronenworth autograph ball, also a Padres jersey signed by Xander Bogaerts. So if you want to come and meet us all, you should definitely come to Park 101. I feel like if we all get together and we all put positive energy out there, then we'll be fine. They're going to win if we do that. So I'm challenging all of you to come up and hang out. And I want to say, because we did a broadcast at Baja Rick's last Friday, that it was really fun. It's always really, really fun to get to meet people that I've seen on the chat, or if I've seen, elsewhere on Twitter, email, something like that. It's always fun to connect with the people that I talk to. And I'm going to give a special shout out right now to Marcos, Wesley, and Sandra. So when I was at the game on Friday night, they, as I was leaving the game, it was kind of crazy, but like 3 people in a row were like, "Hey, Skraby, love the show. Tell Chris to be nicer to you." And I love when I hear that. But they saw me, and they were very nice, and we got to talk and meet for a second. So I want to meet as many people as I can tomorrow at the Park 101 viewing party. But Marcos, Wesley, Sandra, thank you for saying hi. That was pretty awesome. It's still never, I still never get used to someone just screaming my name, Skraby, and I turn around and I probably look like a deer in the headlights. Anyway, Kevin on the chat, back to the Padres. And I should probably say this first before I move to this, but Shohei Ohtani leads off the game with a home run for the Dodgers. Dodgers are up 1-0, so that was not great at all. Kevin said, the reason the Pods lost is because O'Hearn couldn't knock home a runner at third on 2 occasions. Normally, I would say yes, you are correct, that if you don't knock in a runner on third 2 or more times, yeah, that's probably a bad day at the plate. But I do feel like Dansby Swanson just robbed Ryan O'Hearn. The first robbery was in the top of the second with Xander on third, which would have scored Xander if this gets through. But Ryan O'Hearn hit a 101 mile an hour grounder, kind of sort of in the more towards the 5.5 hole. But Dansby Swanson wasn't playing in the regular position for a shortstop, so he had to dive to his right. He stopped the ball. It was a great play. You got to tip your cap to Dansby Swanson on that one, because I thought that was going to get through. But the one that I think Ryan O'Hearn should take no blame for whatsoever is the pop out to Dansby Swanson in the top of the 4th inning. You have Manny that walks. You have Jackson Merrill, who sacrificed Manny over, and then you have Xander, who singled, and so you had guys on first and third. Ryan O'Hearn pops out to Dansby Swanson But Dansby Swanson made an incredible over-the-shoulder catch in shallow left center. Like, I've seen shortstops try to make that play many, many times, and it's hit or miss whether they make it, because they're trying to run away from home plate, but they're also trying to make sure the ball's not passing them, and they're not passing the ball. And so he made a great play, an over-the-shoulder catch. I again have to tip my cap to Dansby Swanson, but I can't say that it was Ryan O'Hearn's fault that the Padres lost today. I don't really think it goes on anyone outside of the top three in the lineup. And yes, I'm putting Luis Arraez part of that because he is a firmly planted fixture at the top of that lineup. But 0 for 11 today, Manny did walk, but 0 for 11 today is not going to win you playoff games. Misfit says, postseason Padres at it again. You know what? I can't argue because they lost the game today. I can't. So I guess I won't even try to argue that. I think that they still, until they have been eliminated, I can't call them frauds. But, I mean, tomorrow they lose. It's a quick exit from the postseason, especially after a season where AJ Preller made tons of moves. He made great moves. He made moves that put the Padres in a position to get to the World Series. And I do think that if they get swept in this wild card, it's a disappointment. I think that all of those guys would say that it's a disappointment, because I think they all thought that it was going to, they were going to be able to go deeper in the playoffs, at least through most of the year, until kind of the end when they were struggling a little bit. But it's to me a disappointment if they don't at least win a game. And so let's hope that they can do that tomorrow. And they're going to have to do it with Dylan Cease. And Dylan Cease, I personally think Dylan Cease, I like Dylan Cease. I think that he can at moments. We've all seen him be really, really good, and we've seen him struggle mightily this year at certain points. And so I think you take Dylan Cease one time through the lineup tomorrow. One time. You give him 9 batters, and you see what he could do with those 9. Because I am not, at this point in time, because of how tough it's been for him the second time through the lineup, I am not willing to risk it and keep him out there, even if he sits down 9 in a row. It's going to be hard to take a guy out of the game, but how many times have we seen it this year where he does do something like sit down a bunch of guys, and then all of a sudden, second time through the lineup, and he's getting hit around the park? And I am asking nicely to the Padres. I know that they're not listening right now, but I'm asking them nicely. I don't want to see if tomorrow's the day that Dylan Cease can turn it around second time through the lineup. I think if Dylan Cease knows that he can empty the tank one time through, I think that he can be effective. And then you still got Michael King on Monday, which was yesterday. My days are getting all screwed up. But yesterday, Mike Schilt talked about how everyone is available in the pitching, or from the pitching staff. Everyone. So if there's a point tomorrow where the game seems like it's possibly going to get out of hand in one way or the other, I think you bring in Michael King. Michael King has the experience out of the bullpen. Michael King obviously has been injured all year. But if Dylan Cease, let's say Dylan Cease gives up a run, and then has guys second and third in the second inning, I'm sorry. The season is on the line, and you got to manage this game like the season is on the line. You have to. You have to. And the Cubs, I heard Tony and Jesse say it all day. The Cubs are not a great team against the fastball. So Nick Pivetta threw a bunch of fastballs. He struck out 9 today. Cubs are actually ranked 20th in baseball against the fastball. And with Pivetta striking out 9, you got to think and he did it mostly on the fastball. It was mostly fastballs for him today. But if you combine Dylan Cease, if you combine his fastball and slider, the batting average against is 234, and he averages 97 miles an hour on his fastball, which is 2 miles an hour better than what I saw Nick Pivetta throwing today. With a little bit of adrenaline for Dylan Cease tomorrow, I'm thinking he's touching 98, 99. I think he could 100% blow it past these guys. But one time through the lineup is personally all I am willing to give. I'm going to go into tomorrow saying that Dylan Cease is going to be great, because that's really all I can do. I did when I was a drinker. I'm coming up on 9 years without a drink. When I was a drinker, I did the doom and gloom thing all the time. I was always negative about sports. And then I realized I have nothing to do with it. So why don't I try to be positive, at least going into the game, so I don't have to worry about it leading up to it. All right. Here are the stats for Dylan Cease. First time through the lineup, batting average against 213. His OPS 606. Second plate appearance for players, the batting average goes all the way up to 269, and the OPS goes to 802. And then the third plate appearance, batting average goes down to 238, but the OPS barely goes down to 790. So if you're listening right now and you're like, why are you so adamant that he can only go one time through the lineup, even if he's good? It's because that second time through has shown us all season long that weird stuff happens. And they can't get into that tomorrow. They cannot get into having him lose command, as we've seen. So I'm going to go into tomorrow thinking that Dylan Cease is going to give it 3 great innings. We're going to see Michael King. He's going to give it as much as he can go. And then we're going to see that bullpen. I mean, Mason Miller looked awesome today. Didn't even get to see Robert Suarez because obviously there was no lead to be saved. But tomorrow is a day where you kind of throw certain tendencies out the window if you're the Padres, and you got to manage the game as it comes to you. I think I'm not a major league manager, but I think you have to manage how it comes to you. You can't just be making moves just because you've been doing that all year. Some moves, yes. Here are some chats right now from SD. Padres will take the series. This team has done this all season. Lose first game and take the next 2. Just got to pray Schilt don't choke on the decision making. It's a good point. They have done that this year. I do know that they have lost the first game of the series and then won the next 2. And they've done it on more than a couple occasions. So it's totally possible. And as Sammy Lev said on his postgame show, he can't be too, worried about things because Padres have won plenty of games back-to-back or 2 games in a row, plenty of times this year. Dane says, offense showing up tomorrow is all I'm asking for, please. Yeah. Misfit's back. And I'm okay with Misfit and their anger towards the Padres right now. This team regressed every year. NLCS 22, out. NLDS 2024, out. Wild card 2025, going to be out. See, that's where you're wrong, Misfit. The series is not actually over. Now you can rub it in my face tomorrow if they do lose. But I don't think that's going to happen. I don't think it's going to happen. All right, when we get back, I will update you. Shohei Ohtani is already up again. It's in the bottom of the second inning. Dodgers are only leading 1-0. So I'll update you on some of the things that happen around baseball when we get back here on the Skraby Show, 97.3 The Fan. Back here, Odyssey Palace 97.3, The Fan. Thank you for joining me. Again, tomorrow, you can meet me, and you can meet Chris, and you can meet Ben, and you can meet Woods. I'm not sure what the deal with Paul is. I would assume he's going to be there, but I'm not sure. I know that Braden's going to be there. Not sure about Frank either, but I know that a lot of us are going to be there tomorrow. So you need to make sure you come say hi. Park 101, Carlsbad Village Drive, or Carlsbad Boulevard, I'm sorry, in the Carlsbad Village, tomorrow at noon. Noon through the end of the game. Now, Chris and I have to leave a little bit early because we have to make our way back down to the studio with the traffic and everything. And so, yes, if you want to meet me at least, you got to get there early because I got to leave early to get down here. Traffic is not the easiest at that time, and hopefully no planes land on the freeway tomorrow because that would be brutal. Okay, so I got a message in the break, and it's from a Yankees fan that I know, and they said, "You think you got it bad in San Diego? We just blew the game after Max Fried pitched well." That was a paraphrase. I can't actually repeat what he said, but that's true. Let's go look at this real quick. And some of the quick thoughts are from Yankees fans. People think that Aaron Boone should not have pulled Fried when he did, even though he had 100+ pitches. And some think that Aaron Boone might be out if the Yankees don't win tomorrow, which Aaron Boone is constantly on the hot seat. Constantly on the hot seat. Oh, Paul is going to be there. All right, so tomorrow, Park 101, Paul will be there. But Aaron Boone constantly on the hot seat. But if you look at what Max Fried did today, he went 6 1/3, struck out 6, walked 3, gave up 4 hits, but he was up in the 102 range for pitch, or he pitched, or let me start that over. He threw 102 pitches today, 63 for strikes. So if Yankees fans are mad about that, I don't know what to tell you. Luke Weaver's been pretty good. I know he was injured this year, and he gave up 2 runs. He didn't get an out, so he took the L, and the Yankees go on to lose. Crochet was just dominant. He went 7 2/3, 4 hits, 11 Ks, gave up a early home run to Anthony Volpe. And then Chapman came in for an inning and a third, 2 Ks, got the save. So the Red Sox go on to win 3-1. But I don't know that I can blame Aaron Boone for taking Max Fried out of the game. I'm trying to go and see I just got this text as soon as I was coming back from break. So I want to make sure I have everything correct. Yeah, it was Jaron Duran grounds out in the top of the 7th, and then they made the pitching change to bring Luke Weaver in to face Ceddanne Rafaela. He ends up walking on an 11 pitch at bat. So Weaver puts him on, and then Nick Sogard doubles, which made it, or Ceddanne Rafaela goes to third. Red Sox pinch hit Masataka Yoshida. He singles to center. Rafaela scores. Sogard scores 2-1. So I don't know. I mean, it's not a job that I'm interested in having as a manager of a baseball team because everybody is constantly second guessing. But I'm thinking about this live on the air. I guess you kind of have to. I'm thinking about what if this was the Padres and Pivetta was out there. And Pivetta was out there 6 1/3, over 100 pitches. Has not been the best, walking 3. Luke Weaver comes in. He was good for you last year. He was injured a little bit this year, but I don't know. I don't know that it's Aaron Boone's fault that they took Max Fried out. and the game ended up getting away. But if I'm Max Fried, I'm not happy whatsoever with doing as much as I did and then immediately leaving, and the game is over for them. I don't know that Yankees fan. I mean, I get it. Yankees fans are just upset because their team was up 1-0, kind of similar to the Padres a little bit. The Yankees go up 1-0 in the bottom of the second, even though the Padres weren't the home team. I know that. I've made that mistake several times today. But the Red Sox ended up scoring 2 in the 7th, 1 in the 9th to get the 3-1 win. I think it's a worse loss because the Yankees are at home. If it's gonna come down to who had the worst, I know this isn't a word, but I'm just gonna say it. The worser loss, I'm gonna say it was the Yankees because they were at home and they had the lead. I mean, the Padres are at least on the road, and we all know Padres do not play well on the road this year. They're gonna have to play well tomorrow because the season will be over tomorrow if they don't win. Floppy Hat says, believe and good things will come. Max says, going to need the starting pitcher and whoever comes out of the bullpen first to pitch near perfect with the offense in this state. I don't disagree with you, Max. The offense has not given me confidence. It has not. But also, we've seen this offense string together some good stretches. Dane says Yankees loss was honestly worse. Oh yeah, bases were loaded. That's right. I left that out. Bottom of the 9th, no outs, and they still lose. Yeah, well, I've been doing the show, so I wasn't exactly watching closely, but I did not know that they had no outs at the time. That is pretty brutal. Having the bases loaded, no outs in the 9th, and you can't get a couple guys across. It's the playoffs. Jess says it's literally exactly the same, I guess, to the Yankees. Minus we didn't pull our guy with the best bullpen in Major League Baseball. Renee says, just believe. All right, you know what? I'm going to go out. Here's one. I'm going to go out tonight positively because I'm just going to. I do feel like they can win this game tomorrow. And I do feel like there's going to be a game on Thursday. I'm not ready for this season to be over. I am not ready to go back to, and although I love doing the Skraby Show, I am not ready to go back to a Skraby Show 3 times a week. I'm not ready for that yet. So please, Padres, please be able to do something tomorrow. It's going to sting, and it's going to be really, really hard to take if the offense is what we saw today, what we saw recently from them. It's going to be something. It's going to be a bitter pill to swallow for the offseason because that would mean that 2 seasons have ended due to the offense not doing anything. Last year, we know what happened in the NLDS. They didn't hit for like 2 straight games. And today, they weren't able to hit with runners in scoring position. So I don't want that to happen. I don't want it to go into the offseason with us having to answer questions. And I'm talking about all of us, fans, people that work on 97.3 The Fan. I don't want to have an offseason of this team can't hit. I just don't. I can't do it. Can't do it. I'm going to hope and pray Padres win tomorrow. Rod says, turn the page and let's roll. You know what? I am going to turn the page. We have covered this from every single angle. So we're going to turn the page and I'm going to talk about something I think is a little fun, which is people really love when I don't know if they really love it, but people like when I tell everyone what I've been watching lately. And Netflix has a new show called Black Rabbit, and I was recommended the show by someone, and it was really good. 8 episodes. it's got Jude Law, it's got Jason Bateman. It's one of those shows where bad things just constantly build up on these people, and you're trying to see them survive. But Black Rabbit, good show. Go and watch that. That's really the only thing I've been watching as of late, because I've been so caught up in sports lately. Baseball, football. I mean, that Tyreek Hill injury last night was pretty brutal to watch. And as we said on the show earlier, when he was going off of the field, it seemed like he was smiling, but I think that he was just trying to cover up the pain that he was in. He dislocated his knee and he tore his ACL. He's getting surgery. You saw his leg facing the other way. Sorry if you're squeamish. I'm a weirdo who watches those videos all the time. But that was a pretty crazy injury for Tyreek Hill, I have to say. It was not something that anyone thought was going to happen, because they showed the replay a bunch. All right, with that, here's this.
What's annoying Skraby today? Let's find out. It's time for the Daily Gripe.
Another reason I don't want the Padres to be done is because I can't do an off season of fire the hitting coach, even though I don't really, I'm not going to say he doesn't deserve to get fired or he does deserve to get fired. I think we'll do the autopsy in the season whenever that ends. But I don't think it's the hitting coach's fault. I don't. He's not the one hitting. And I know that the philosophy of the Padres is, not hit the long ball, but make contact, move the runners over, hitting the gaps, all that stuff. All right. My daily gripe for today is what happened during the 7th inning stretch of the Padres and the Cubs game. We have this thing here in San Diego. Every time apparently the Mariners and the Padres play, it's called the Vedder Cup, because apparently Eddie Vedder loves both teams so much that he can't choose. I just made that up. But Eddie Vedder ends up doing the 7th inning stretch for the Cubs today because he is a massive Cubs fan. So here's the daily gripe. What is the point of forcing everybody into this Vedder Cup thing if it doesn't mean anything to Eddie Vedder? And I understand it's very nice that they do it for charity. I'm always for money going towards a good cause. But come on. Why are they forcing this Eddie Vedder thing on us if Eddie Vedder doesn't even like the Padres or the Mariners? He likes the Cubs. I guess he grew up in Evanston, Illinois. Went to games with his grandfather. So the Vedder Cup doesn't carry much weight for me anymore. I hate to say it, but it just doesn't. All right, that's it for me. Skraby Show. Thank you so much for joining me today. Another Padres game tomorrow. Please come up and say hi at Park 101 in Carlsbad tomorrow at noon. 3040 Carlsbad Boulevard in the Carlsbad Village. Autographed baseballs. You're going to get to meet Ben Woods and Paul Braden. I think Frank's going. I'm not sure. Chris and I are going to be there. I know Adam's going to be there. So all of us will be there. Have a great night, everyone. Make sure you come into tomorrow positive.